The time is now 7:30 p.m. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Old Bridge Township Zoning Board of Adjustment for May 20th, 2021. I'm James Sullivan. As chairman of the board, I ask you now to join me in reciting the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of our country. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Adequate notice of this meeting of the Old Bridge Township Zoning Board of Adjustment has been provided in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act at least 48 hours prior to the commencement of this meeting, by prominently posting in the municipal complex an announcement giving the time, the date, the location, and the agenda of this meeting. Also by mailing such announcement to the Home News and Tribune, filing a copy of such announcement with the municipal clerk, and by posting the notice of this meeting on the Old Bridge Township website. Ms. Silverman, could we have a roll call, please?
Mr. Dewhurst?
Here.
Ms. Chevalier?
Here.
Mr. Connor?
Here.
Ms. Kilduff?
Here.
Mr. Scogno?
Here.
Mr. Stoner? Mr. Stoner?
Ben, you're muted, Ben.
I did see him. Mr. Zarkowski?
Here.
Ms. Andrews?
Here.
Chairman
Yeah.
Sullivan?
Here. You hear me? Yeah.
Oh, I hear Ben. Mr. Sachs?
Here.
Ms. Sawant?
Here.
And myself, Kim Silverman.
Thank you, Ms. Silverman. This meeting is being conducted electronically via the internet
Yeah.
on a webinar.
I don't know if you know my name. I'm sorry. Gioloris.
We'll call you when we're prepared to handle your application.
Thank you. I'm sorry.
You can just mute yourself. Thank you. The meeting is being conducted electronically by a webinar. It's unique and it takes patience on all of us involved. We no longer gather in the courtroom, so we're doing this from our own homes or our own offices. This meeting is simultaneously being televised by OBTV Channel 15, as well as YouTube Live. I remind those that are watching on whatever device, there may be up to a 30-second delay in communication. This will be important to remember if you wish to personally join the public portion of the meeting later on. If you're calling in, you're going to have to lower your device, otherwise you'll be confused by the time delay. I would ask all participants at this point to silence their cell phones to avoid any disturbances during the meeting. Our meeting follows the same protocols as always, even if we were in the courtroom. There are some general housekeeping matters tonight, followed by 6, I believe, C variance applications. We don't have a court reporter this evening, so I don't think there'll be a need for a break. But if there is, we'll give everyone ample time in the event that one of the professionals needs to take a break or something comes up. All applications, there's a public portion, and that happens after the application, after the applicant presents their testimony to the board. Then the professionals for the township may ask some questions of the applicant. And then finally, we would go to a public portion before we would take any vote. So if you have any interest and you're watching at home, it's a good time now to grab a piece of paper and a pencil and make some notes. It may become important later because sometimes these go on and you may forget what you wanted to say. So write it down and we'll get to you at some point. Ms. Sawant is the township planner and she is the moderator of this webinar. So Ms. Sawant, could you fill everyone in on anything that I may have forgotten?
Good evening, all. A couple of reminders. Zoning board members will be unmuted during the first half of the meeting when they will be required to vote on other agenda items. The zoning board attorney, the zoning board chairman, the zoning board secretary, and the court reporter, I don't believe we have one, will remain unmuted throughout the meeting. Everyone else will be muted once the presentation of the application begins. The applicant will be asked to turn on the video and unmute themselves in order in which for them to testify. For public, I will announce the last 4 digits of the caller's phone number to come forward, announce their name and address. I will announce the last 4 digits of the next caller's phone number so that they will be prepared. We will share our screen to display any exhibits. The meeting information will be displayed on the screen multiple times during the meeting so that any resident who wishes to call and join the meeting can do so. Please be patient. You will have an opportunity to speak. Please be mindful, there is a 30-second time lag in all presentations.
Thank you, Ms. Sawant. Before I go to our agenda and I start the meeting this evening, I'd like to make special note of the passing of a true civic-minded volunteer to our community earlier this week. Mr. Robert Ritz gave 60 years of volunteer service to the Old Bridge Fire Services, in particular District 3 South Old Bridge Fire Company. He obviously started at a very young age, but continued well into his years. Truly dedicated to his work, family, and volunteerism. Ironically, his middle name is Loyal. And I didn't make that up. That truly is his middle name. I think that speaks volumes. He passed at age 91. Mr. Ritz is the father of board member Virginia Kilduff, so I guess his civic spirit rubbed off on you and your family, Virginia. On behalf of the board, we offer our sincere condolences to the Ritzes and the Kilduff families, and I'd ask for a moment of silence, please. Thank you all. We'll move on with the agenda. Item number 2 is completeness waivers. It's 12-2021Z, Edward Testino LLC. It's block 6017.11 lot 9 located at 121 Route 34. Board members, Ms. Sawant, the planner, has authored a memo to all of us dated May 14, 2021, reference this application. It will require a D variance. She opines the following. The subject property is located at 121 Route 34. The site is fully located within the OG1 Office General Zone. Currently, the site is developed with a law office. In 2018, the planning board granted approval for preliminary and final site plan to demolish the existing one-story office building, construct a new two-story office building on the property. Current applications for use variance only. The applicant now proposes to construct a mixed-use building with 4,903 square feet of office space on the first floor and 4 apartments on the second floor. The second floor comprises of 3 one-bedroom units and 1 two-bedroom unit. Our office has reviewed the following waiver by the applicant. Item number 3C, Stormwater Management Report. The applicant proposes to build a mixed-use building with ground floor use and apartments above. This is a bifurcated application. The applicant is seeking approval for use variance only. Should the board act favorably on this use variance application, the applicant would come back in front of the board for a site plan approval, at which time a stormwater management report would be required. This office has no objections for waiving the stormwater management report at this time. And finally, this applicant should be advised that the waiving of any completeness items do not constitute approval of any portion of the application, and that any information found necessary during the review process must be supplied. Is Mr. Testino here?
Yes, I'm here, Mr. Chairman.
Before I go to you, Mr. Testino, Ms. Sawant, is there anything else that you wanted to add to your memo as written?
Good evening, all. Actually, I don't have any. So
you have no more comments then, correct, Ms. Sawant?
I do not have any comments. I just want to remind the board that just last meeting, we did approve a bunch of waivers. This one was missed out, so we added this waiver to this meeting. If you all recollect, this is a bifurcated application, which means they are in front of the board only for the use. Should the board act favorably, the applicant will have to come back to the board again for site plan, and stormwater management is something we require when we do a site plan review. When it is just the use variance, I'm comfortable requesting you to waive it.
Thank you, Ms. Sawant. Mr. Testino.
Yes, Ms. Swan, I thought we also asked for a waiver on the utility placements on the drawings, and that would be done at the time of if we came back for site plan as well.
That is correct. Those are actually not applicable for the use variance review. So you don't need to actually ask for a waiver because they're not applicable.
I just asked because the clerk put it on the incomplete letter, and I didn't want it to come out misunderstood after the meeting.
I did have a conversation, and I think you're good to go.
Thank
This is
you.
the last.
Thank you so much, Ms. Swan.
Anything else, Mr. Testino?
No, Mr. Chairman, I would just ask that you approve the waiver.
Thank you, Mr. Testino. Board members, you've heard the advice of our planner. Would someone move to approve this waiver?
I'll move it. Dewhurst.
Vice Chairman Dewhurst, is there a second?
A second.
That's Mr. Stoner?
Yes.
Well, okay. Moved in second. Roll call, please.
Mr. Dewhurst,
Yes.
Ms. Chevalier? Doreen?
Yeah, unmute.
Hello?
We can see you, but.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Mr. Connor?
Yes.
Ms. Kilduff?
Yes, and thank you, Mr. Chairman, for mentioning my dad. I appreciate it.
Quite welcome.
Mr. Scogno?
Yes.
Mr. Stoner?
Yes.
Chairman Sullivan?
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Testino.
Thank you all. Have a good night.
The same to you. Good weekend and
Good
a
night.
good holiday weekend coming up.
Thank you as well.
Next item is continuance. It's 16-2021Z, also located OG1 zone. This is worldwide wholesale floor coverings of OB Inc. Block 21003, Lot 1, located 3837 Highway 9, for 2 wall-mounted signs and it's requiring a C variance. James Stoll Esquire is representing the applicant. The applicant is now asking to be continued to June 17th, 2021 with further notice. If you're watching this meeting thinking about hearing this application, you will not hear it tonight, but it will be on the agenda for June 17th. That'll move us to our, we have somebody has an open mic, that's making some feedback. Mr. Scott, is it yours? Okay. Thank you all. We'll move on to the first C variance then. It's 14-2021Z. It's the R20 zone. Gregory Calkins, I hope I'm saying that right. It's block 11249, lot 56, located 56 Edgar Road. It's a corner lot for a 2-story addition requiring a C variance. Mr. Calkins, okay, you can unmute yourself now. Thank you, sir.
Yes,
Are you going to be the only one testifying, sir?
yes.
Okay, the board attorney is going to swear you in.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, before we do the Calkins application,
Go ahead.
I did speak to Ms. Sawant just a few minutes ago, and one of the applications, it's actually the last one, the Gallo application, may have to be carried to the next meeting. So maybe we can just, Ms. Sawant, if you just want to comment on that issue.
Sure. Chairman Sullivan, if you will observe, I am acting on behalf of the zoning officer tonight.
Mhm.
He was unable to attend the meeting tonight, but I did review all the applications tonight with him. One thing that came up when we were reviewing this application is that the applicant is proposing addition on the side, which triggers a side yard variance. The applicant is also proposing an addition to the rear side of the house. When I look at the overall plan, it appears that the proposed addition may violate the total allowed FAR, the floor area ratio. We do not have adequate information to be able to determine that. Damien and I were able to figure out that the maximum the maximum square footage allowed in the R12 zone where this property is located is 0.21. So which means the FAR is 0.21, which means that the house can be a maximum of 2,926 square feet. There was no way for us to verify what the existing home is and the proposed addition is. So we need additional time to reach out to the owner and review this thoroughly, because I would hate the owner to come back in front of the zoning board for a D variance.
Understood. Mr. Sachs, I see the gallows are
Yes.
here. Mr. Sachs, would you give them a brief
Yes.
why we can't hear it tonight?
Yes, Mr. and Mrs. Gallo, good evening. I mean, this issue was just brought to our attention just maybe a few minutes before the meeting, when Ms. Sawant called me up. Each zone in town has a maximum permitted floor area ratio, and it's a percentage of the size of the lot versus what you're proposing on your property. So it's possible, and I think it's probably accurate, that you probably will need an additional variance for which you did not notice for this evening, through no fault of your own, by the way. That's not, that's something that you're not at fault at. But in order for us to make sure that we do this legally and correctly and not have any problems for you down in the future, I think what you're going to have to do is probably renotice for our next meeting, which would be the June 3rd meeting, all right? And you will have to notice for that D4 floor area ratio variance. Now, I would suggest that you give a call tomorrow. Vina, you'll be in tomorrow?
Vina?
Yes, I will.
Okay, so if Mr. Miscal, if you can call Vina tomorrow morning, she'll instruct you, or I guess you could figure out what the FAR is, what has to be placed in your notice, and then you just need to obviously do that again prior to the next meeting. Now, the next meeting is June 3rd, so it's not far off. And hopefully you can get your notice out in time in the newspaper again, just to make sure that we've got it covered. But, if we were to grant a variance tonight, you wouldn't be able to have a building permit issued based upon the fact that you need this additional variance. So, we'd want to be cautious on this. I will tell you that I don't believe there are any objectors to any of the applications this evening, because I don't see any attendees on this list. So I'm sure your neighbors are not are comfortable with this application and will not have any issue. But I just want to make sure you understand what I've just told you.
Can I make a comment?
Sure.
We are aware of the FAR. We are under what is allowable. We know the exact numbers. Our architect has calculated that. So just so you know, we are aware, and we will not be over.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what, then let's do this. I know you're the last application. Vina, if you can maybe check and just take a look at their architectural plans and see if either there's possibly the architect's incorrect or maybe we're incorrect. But all right, we'll leave you at the end and we'll come back to this. All right.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Mr. Chairman, sorry to interrupt the
No, it's quite all right.
dialogue.
You can swear in the applicant.
Okay. Mr. Calkins, if you can please raise your right hand. You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
All right, please state your name, spelling your last name and address for the record.
Gregory Calkins, GREGORYCALKINS. I live at 56 Edgar Road, Matawan, New Jersey, 07747.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Calkins, we see that you have an application before the board for you have a corner lot, and I'm assuming you're putting on an addition. So obviously you're going to need a variance. What the board, you're not represented by legal counsel, and when I asked you if you had any other witnesses testifying, probably no professionals, so you're doing this yourself. And we try to make it a little easier on the homeowner when they do that, but there are certain proofs that need to go on the record and certain things that we're going to need to hear from you. So what we'd like you to do, in your own words and at your own pace, just tell the board what you want to do, how you're going to do that. We have some obvious evidential drawings and survey, so we'll be referring to them. But you do so at your own pace. Then I'm going to ask the township professional why you need a variance. And then we may have some questions of you. You may have some questions of us. At some point, we'll come to a public portion. And we'll open a public portion to close it. Then I'm going to ask you if you'd like the board to take a vote. And by the way, anyone else listening, they're going to be following this evening. The same applies to you. It's the same information I'm going to tell you. You'll proceed at your own pace and we'll follow that procedure. So Mr. Calkins, we're sorry once again to interrupt you. I didn't know about that, but that's okay. I don't think there was no foul, no harm done. So we'll ask you now to proceed at your own pace, sir.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, and good evening, everybody involved. Yes, I'd like to I'm adding extension to the front of my kitchen. My kitchen is on Edgar Road. So it's a 16.6 foot span of the front of my house that I'm going to extend 8 feet towards Edgar Road. My property lies on Edgar and Gordon Place. I'm just extending that, and then I'm adding a 6 foot porch to the rest of the front of the house with 2 pitches and overhangs. The kitchen that's getting extended, I'm also going up a story, and I'm adding a bedroom and a bathroom up there. The main reason why I decided to go about this is I am a corner property. It's the first property pretty much you see on your left-hand side when you come off of Route 34. I feel like our little community here has grown a lot over the last few years. I've lived out here for about 5 years, and a lot of the houses have had some nice improvements, and I want to fit in with them, and I also want to make a good impression on the neighborhood. When they come down the block, they could see a nice looking house. What really started my whole entire idea behind all this was I moved my mother in about a year ago. And once I moved in, she wanted to move because she said the house wasn't big enough. So after doing all the interior work, I've had multiple permits pulled from your offices. I added a bathroom. I did so much in the house, and I said I don't want to move. We've already made it home. And how about if we add a bedroom for you? And she'll have like her own wing. Type of quote unquote. Area of the house, it'll be her own, and that'll be good for her. And I have a little daughter, and she loves it too. We have a nice front lawn, and there's nothing like this neighborhood. I've gone through a lot with pulling permits and doing everything legally in the right way, because I firmly believe in it's the best way. And inspectors have helped me out along the way too. I must say, they give me good words of advice that really only makes my home better in the long run. So like I said, I know it's going to come out great. I'm going to make a nice big kitchen. Kitchen's going to be like 16 by 16 with an island. The stairs going upstairs to a bedroom with a full bathroom, a shower, full shower, and everything, walk-in closet. And I think it's going to come out really nice. It's probably enough out of me. There's not much more I really need to say. It'd be good for the neighborhood. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. And I'm glad to hear that you're listening to your mother and took her advice.
Yeah.
The notice from the zoning denial from Mr. Gill board members adds that the 2-story addition, which is 39 foot 2 inches, where 50 front yard setback is required. So basically, this is a setback issue. I'm going to go to Ms. Sawant, please.
So this property is actually a corner property. So with the corner property, it requires 2 front yards, and the way the rear and the side yard is calculated.
You froze up, Dina. Okay, we'll just give it a second here. The last words we got from you, Vina, was the way that it's calculated.
Right. Can you hear me now?
Now we can.
Okay. So the way the side and rear yard is calculated is the smallest of the 2 fronts. The side that is opposite to the smallest side is the rear, and then what remains is the side yard. So in this case, a 50-foot front yard is required along Edgar and Gordon Place. The existing setback is 49 feet. With the proposed addition, the front yard setback on Edgar would be 39 feet 2 inches. That triggers a front yard variance, and that's the only variance that is involved, and that's pretty much it. We did verify that it meets the floor area ratio for the area, so it complies with the floor area. And again, this is something that I have been reading for the last few months now, where planners all around have started discussing these accessory type of dwellings, where where kids want their parents to live closer to them, and there are towns and there are ordinances written that to allow these mother-daughter, or in this case, I would say son and mother kind of an arrangement. So it's a good thing you have invested in the property, and I highly encourage such type of developments.
Thank you, Ms. Sawant. Board members, do I have any questions? You can raise your hand. I can see everyone. I see none. Mr. Sachs?
Nothing, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. This is pretty straightforward, Mr. Corcoran. I do have to go to a public portion, but this is basically just for a setback. We're talking about 10 plus foot. It's rather small in comparison. So I don't anticipate a problem with this, but is there anything else you'd like to tell me before I go to the public?
No, I pretty much added everything in.
Okay.
It'll all be there. Thank you.
Okay, sir. I'm going to go to open the public portion on this matter. Once again, this is 14-2021Z. The location is 56 Edgar Road. It's for an extension on the house, but what's happening is there's a deficiency in the setback on one side. If anyone wants to be heard on this matter, please call in. The numbers are in front of you on whatever device you're watching, and we'll listen to your comments. Do we have anyone in queue?
No.
No raised hands.
Okay, we'll just give it maybe 30 seconds or so. I'll check with our attorney. Anything yet?
No.
Mr. Sachs?
Mr. Chairman, I believe we can close the public portion.
Thank you very much. The public portion is hereby closed. Do you have any final comments, sir, before I'm going to ask you if you would like a vote?
No final comments. I
Okay.
believe I added it all. Just like it approved so we could get going.
Okay, board members, you've heard this is a simple application. This is a deficiency in a side yard setback. Does someone want to move this for approval?
Scogno, I'll move it for approval.
Is there a second?
Second, Kilduff.
Second, Kilduff. Roll call, please.
Mr. Dewhurst?
Yes.
Ms. Chevalier?
Yes.
Mr. Connor?
Yes.
Ms. Geldof?
Yes.
Mr. Scogno?
Yes.
Mr. Stoner?
Yes.
Chairman Sullivan?
Yes. We have a resolution prepared in anticipation.
Yes, we do, Mr. Chairman. This is application 14-2021Z. Applicant is Gregory Calkins, property located 56 Edgar Road, block 11249, lot 56. Application to permit the construction of a two-story addition to the house, which violates front yard setback. Proposed is 39.2 feet, where 50 feet is required. This property is in the R20 zone. And the conditions of approval: construction to be completed within 1 year of the issuance of the building permit. And secondly, that the addition to match the exterior of the existing house.
Thank you, Mr. Sachs. Board members, someone want to move the resolution, please, for adoption?
Motion to approve, Connor.
Is there a second?
Second, Stoner.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Dewhurst?
Yes.
Ms. Chevalier?
Yes.
Mr. Connor?
Yes.
Ms. Geldof?
Yes.
Mr. Scogno?
Yes.
Mr. Stoner?
Yes.
Chairman Sullivan?
You know, I was paying attention to your words, sir, and you said that you kind of liked where you live and you want to stay here in Old Bridge, and this is where you want your family. And that's gratifying to hear. It's great for you for reinvesting in your own property. That makes it stronger for the community. Certainly my vote is yes. Best of luck.
Thank you, Chairman. Thank
Have
you,
a great
Mr.
night and a safe holiday weekend coming up.
Thank you. You all as well. Good night.
Sir.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda is 15-21Z, 2021Z. John J. Lynch III. This is in the R30, R12. I guess it crosses over. It's at 1 Whitetail Court. It's a corner lot. They're seeking a 6-foot fence requiring a C variance. It's block 10252.21, lot 7. Is Mr. Lynch, where do I see him? Mr. Lynch, are you, I guess that, I'm assuming that's your wife? Are you both going to be testifying?
Yes, sir.
The board attorney is going to swear you both in, please.
All right, please, both of you raise your right hands. You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
All right, please, both of you state your names, spelling your last name and your address for the record.
Megan Lynch, MEGAN LYNCH, 1 Whitetail Court, Mattawan.
John Lynch, JOHNLYNCH, at 1 Whitetail Court in Mattawan.
Thank you.
Mr. Lynch and Mrs. Lynch, you heard the information that I gave the gentleman before you, an applicant. The same applies to you. I'm going to ask you to just proceed as you see fit, explaining to the board what it is you want to do. I know you want to put a fence up, and the board knows that. But give us the particulars, what's going on there, how you're going to accomplish that, and I'll follow the same procedure as we did in the past applicant. So at your own pace, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you. So my wife Megan and I are just looking to seek the variance, like you said. Our home is located within the Deerwood Farms development, and the current zoning rules state that because our home is located on a corner lot, we technically have 2 front yards, meaning that where we are intending to place a fence, it can only be 4 feet in height. We are respectfully requesting to install a 6-foot vinyl fence to replace the already standing 6-foot chain link fence, which is in place as it is. We have spoken with our neighbors as well as members of the current homeowners association, which we currently reside, and have had no issues from the individuals with where we live. This fence basically will give our family, which is now 3 young boys, one of whose is turned 5 today.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. The same privacy that is basically given to all the other homes within our development. Currently, there's a public use path directly adjacent to the back of our house, which leads to the HOA playground as well as a tennis court. And with the high foot traffic and consistency of it, we would just like to have a greater sense of privacy, which we feel the vinyl fence would provide. It's obviously not our intention to disrupt or hinder anyone within our neighborhood with this replacement. We have gotten signatures and no objections from any of our neighbors, some of whom are happy that the outdated chain link fence will be replaced by a cleaner vinyl fence look. This new fence would not impact any line of sight for traffic from any traffic on both Staghorn or Whitetail. We hope that you agree that our request to replace the outdated chain link with a new 6-foot vinyl fence would be an aesthetic proper addition, if not an enhancement to both the neighborhood and the homeowners association alike. Thank you for your thoughtful consideration throughout this process, and now I'll let my wife Megan speak.
And you better let her speak, because you'll be in trouble afterwards. Go ahead, Mrs. Lynch.
And that's exactly why we would like the fence, is because of mostly because of our 3 young boys. I would just like to have a safe area for them to play. And we did clean up our yard very nicely and removed a lot of trees, but those trees also took away our privacy. So that's why we need the vinyl fence, so that we have some privacy. We have a beautiful deck, and we love to have dinner out there in the spring and summer. And with everyone going to our beautiful new playground that they put in our HOA, we don't want to be on display for everyone when we're trying to have dinner back there.
Thank you. That's certainly understandable. I'm going to go to the township professional at this point, Mr. and Mrs. Lynch. Ms. Swan.
Yes, Chairman, I have reviewed the application. Is again a corner lot. And when talking to Damien, he alerted me that there is a 6-foot chain link fence, and he had, I think Phil had gone and taken a look at the site. Probably the original chain link fence was never approved. So Damien suggested that they come in front of the zoning board and just legalize the existing fence and put in a better fence. So the variance that is sought is for the fence height, because in residences in the front yard, we allow a 4-foot high fence, where the applicant is proposing a 6-foot high fence. And that's pretty much it. Is this fence going to be open, or it is it's completely going to screen, right?
Yeah, it's going to be the complete, like the main vinyl fences you see on most.
Right. So then that would be the other variance, because our ordinance requires an open fence. So those 2 variances are sought, but it's a pretty straightforward application. I think they do need some sort of privacy, especially when there is an HOA created playground right in the vicinity.
I agree, and I saw pictures of the home. I think the other board members have seen them too. You can see that the chain link, and that had its time, but it's certainly, that time is well past.
Yes.
I would certainly say that this is not uncommon for people to be coming to the board. We've heard many of these before.
Chairman, one thing I would just like to mention, which I forgot, they do have an approval from the HOA. They have a letter that says that the HOA is okay with the fence, the proposed.
Yes, I did see that letter when I happened to stop into the municipal building. So it would require the two C variances, correct, Vina? One for the height and one for not a non-open fence.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Board members, does anyone have any questions for either of these applicants? Just raise your hand, please. I see none. Once again, Mr. and Mrs. Lynch, this is a common occurrence, and certainly you should be entitled to privacy in your yard. However, I can still have to go to the public yet. Okay, I'm going to open the public portion at this point, sir, if it's okay with you, Mr. Lynch.
Yes, sir.
This is 15-2021Z, located at 1 Whitetail Court. It's a corner lot. They're requesting a 6-foot closed fence. Anyone want to be heard in this matter? The phone numbers and the IDs are in front of you on your device. Please call in at this point.
No raised hands.
Mr. Sachs?
Mr. Chairman, I believe we can close the public portion.
Thank you very much. I'm closing the public portion. Mr. and Mrs. Lynch, anything you want to say? I'm assuming you're going to ask me to call for a vote, correct?
That would be correct, sir.
Is there anything else you'd like to tell the board?
No,
Just
thank
appreciate the consideration.
Okay. Board members, once again, I'll repeat, this is not uncommon for us to handle such variances. If someone is going to be in favor of moving, it's going to require two Cs, but Mr. Sachs, we could take them together, correct?
Yes, we can, Mr. Chairman.
So one is for the closed fence when it should be open, and 6 foot when it would be 4.
That's correct.
Anyone in favor of moving? I will.
First in favor of moving.
Who was that?
Mr. Dewhurst.
Yeah, it was myself and Mr. Dewhurst. Roll call, please.
Mr. Dewhurst?
Yes.
Ms. Chevalier?
Yes.
Mr. Connor?
Yes.
Ms. Kilduff?
Yes.
Mr. Scogno?
Yes.
Mr. Stoner?
Yes.
Chairman Sullivan?
Yes. Mr. Sachs, do we have a resolution on this?
We do indeed. This is application 15-2021Z, applicant John J. Lynch III, property located 1 Whitetail Court, block 10252.21, lot 7, to permit the construction of a 6-foot-high privacy fence where a 4-foot-high open fence is required. So therefore, it triggers 2 variances, one for the height and one for the fact that it will be a solid fence. The property is located in the R30/R20 cluster development zone. The conditions of approval: construction to be completed within 1 year of the issuance of the building permit. Secondly, the finished side of the fence to be facing the outside. And third, a letter of approval from the homeowners association is to be attached. And I do see in the file that there is a letter dated April 5th, 2021 from the Deerwood Farms Homeowners Association giving their authorization. So that's the resolution, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Sachs. Board members, someone will move that?
I'll move it, Kilduff.
Is there a second?
Second. I'll second Stoner.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Dewhurst?
Yes.
Ms. Chevalier?
Yes.
Mr. Connor?
Yes.
Ms. Kilduff?
Yes.
Mr. Scogno?
Yes.
Mr. Stoner?
Yes.
Chairman Sullivan?
Absolutely. Best of luck to you. Enjoy your yard with your children and friends and family.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thanks
Make
very
sure you
much.
get any permits that you need.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Have a great holiday weekend. Next, we have 17-2021Z. It's Evangelia Giouris. I hope I said that right. I'll ask. 40 Arvin Road. Again, this is a corner lot with 3 sides. Requesting a 6-foot fence. This is the R120. This is going to require a C variance. The block number is 18037, lot 30. Is Evangelia, oh, there you are on my screen.
Good
Are
evening.
you both going to testify?
Yes.
Board attorney is going to swear you in, okay?
Okay, if you both can please raise your hands, right hand, so you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God? You do? Okay, thank you. Each of you, please state your name, spelling your last name and address for the record.
Sure. My name is Evangelia. It's actually Giouris. There's an L in there. So Evangelis. Last name is Gialouris. And I live at 40 Arvin Road, Old Bridge, New Jersey, 08857.
And my name is Robert, Robert, Carusos, Karaousos. And we live at 40 Arvin Road, Old Bridge, New Jersey.
Thank you.
You both heard, of course, the information that I had given to the previous applicants. So I'm going to ask you to do the same thing at your own pace. Present your testimony in front of the board as to why you're doing or why you're requesting a variance and what you're going to do with it.
Of course. So we're very new to New Jersey. We're from Brooklyn. We moved here in November and we love it so far. We pretty much came to Jersey for the space and the privacy. We're a very young family. We have a son who's turning 2 and a 2-month-old. So we've come out here just to enjoy that part of life with them and having them run in the yard and to have that space, to have our family over. And we feel like there's absolutely no privacy for us. We don't feel it's very safe. We have the Knights of Columbus directly behind our property and another business, a dog grooming business. So we always see people, in the parking lots and, down the road. And we just feel that we don't have that privacy that we need for our young family. We currently have a chain link fence and we would like to put a privacy 6-foot PVC fence to gain that privacy so we can enjoy the outdoors. Going around meeting the neighbors with getting the signatures, which was one way of, meeting the neighbors. Yep. Everybody was completely for it. They understand we want our privacy. And they've even thanked us for keeping up with this house. From what I understand, it was an eyesore before. So they really were very thankful that we've put so much effort into this home. And we feel like this would just complete it for us and to really make it the home that we wanted for so long,
Okay, anything else you want to tell us at this point? You're going to replace the chain link fence there. You're not making it any bigger. You may be making it higher.
Yes.
Okay. Ms. Sawant?
Something unique about this property. This property is a through lot, which means that it has street frontage on 3 sides, Pace Street, Sally Court, and Arvin Road. The front access is from Arvin Road. So they're in a unique situation where they have 3 front yards. So it's like the house is open on all 3 sides. So I understand that a fence is warranted. In their case, they violate, again, the height of the fence, the code's requirement for 4 feet high fence, and that too an open one, whereas they're proposing a PVC 6-foot high fence. It's the similar situation, same variances required for this property too, and I support their variances.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Is there an issue with being too close to what am I reading on here that Damien said?
So on Sally Court, it is 20 feet from the street, and from Pace Street and from Arvin Road, it is 9 feet from the street.
Okay, so we're okay on that.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Board members, any questions? I can see on the drawing, and I'm sure everybody saw the survey, it's nicely highlighted that it's, and I think they just put on the record when I asked them that question, it's simply the replacement of what is existing there. It's not going to be moved any
Okay.
closer or any further away. Is that correct once again, folks?
Correct.
Yes.
Yep,
Yes, it is.
exactly. The same placement will be with the PVC.
And that is also going to be a closed fence, correct? It's just a closed paneled fence. Okay. Okay, I have nothing else. Mr. Sachs, you have anything you need?
Mr. Chairman, I do not.
Okay. Folks, would you like me to go to a public portion at this point?
Sure.
Okay. This is matter number 17-2021Z, located at Arvin Road. It's a unique property that has 3 front lots. That's something you can brag about too. Not everyone has 3 front lots. 3 front facing lots. If you want to call in on this matter and you have any comments, we'll post up the number. I think. Coming up momentarily. Yeah, folks at home, if you have any comments you want to make, please call in the number that you can see on your screen. We'll give you a short period of time to do so before we go for a vote.
No raised hands, Chairman.
Thank you. Is there, would this require the variance also because it's not open, Ms. Sawant?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay. Height and the same thing, height and open, right?
No raised hands, Chairman.
Mr. Sachs,
Mr. Chairman, you can close the public portion.
thank you very much, sir. Public portion is hereby closed. Any final comments you want to make, folks?
No, I think that's it.
None?
Thank you so
Board
much.
members, someone in favor of moving this? This is for, once again, 6-foot fence in violation of 4-foot and open. It's supposed to be open. It's going to be solid vinyl.
Yes.
Scogno, move it.
Moving both, correct, Mr. Scogno?
Yes.
Is there a second?
Second, Kilduff.
Second by Ms. Kilduff. Roll call, please.
Mr. Dewhurst,
Yes.
Ms. Chevalier,
Yes.
Mr. Connor,
Yes.
Ms. Kilduff,
Yes.
Mr. Scogno,
Yes.
Mr. Stoner,
Yes.
Chairman Sullivan.
Yes. Do we have a resolution, Mr. Sachs?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Application 17-2021Z. Applicant is Evangelia Gialouris. Property located 40 Arvin Road, block 18037, lot 30. It's an application to permit the construction of a 6-foot high privacy fence where a 4-foot high open fence is required. So therefore, there's the variance for the height and also for the fact that it's a closed fence, solid fence. Property is located in the R120 zone. The conditions of approval, construction to be completed within 1 year of the issuance of the building permit and the finished side of the fence to be facing the outside.
Thank you, sir. Board members, someone move a resolution for adoption. I'll move it for a second.
I'll second it, Scogno.
Moved in second. Roll call, please.
Mr. Dewhurst,
Yes.
Ms. Chevalier,
Yes.
Mr. Connor,
Yes.
Ms. Kilduff,
Yes.
Mr. Scogno,
Yes.
Mr. Stoner,
Yes.
Chairman Sullivan.
Yes, best of luck to you on improving your yard there and its privacy. So
Yeah.
good luck. Please get any permits that you need and have a great Memorial Day weekend, a week from this week. All right.
Thank you.
Good night. Moving right along, 18-2021Z, R5 zone, William McGee, that's at 176 Ocean Avenue. Driveway and paver walk expansion requiring a C variance. This is block 6, lot 175.11. Mr. McGee, there you are. I see you there, sir. Board attorney is going to swear you in. Anyone else going to testify, sir?
No, just me.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Sachs.
Mr. McGee, please raise your right hand. You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Please state your name, spelling your last name and address for the record.
William McGee, MC, capital GEE, 176 Ocean Avenue, Lawrence Harbor, New Jersey, 08879.
Thank you, sir.
There's no need for me to repeat. I'm sure, sir, you've heard it enough times now, right?
Yes, sir, I have. Yep.
Proceed at your own pace, sir.
Okay, I'm the second generation owner of the property in question here, and I've been in this house close to 21 years, raising my daughters, put them through Old High School. I've always, took pride in my property, making an asset to the community. Just one thing I had left to do was to straighten out the driveway, replace the concrete runners who were all cracked up. The apron is asphalt, that's all cracked up. And I wanted to make it a little bit wider to, get some more off-street parking if I need it. My daughter does stay with me on occasion, and the more cars we get off the street, the safer it is for the community. If I put her car out in the street, a fire truck can't get by. The garbage truck has the trouble to get by. So basically, I'm just trying to replace my driveway and with pavers and running the pavers along the garage, just because I can't grow nothing over there. It's the sun, and I'm just trying to tighten up the property. I have nowhere to move snow in the winter. I'll be able to use my snow blower, and if I could push the snow into the backyard, making it better for the community. So that's my intention on what I want to do.
All right, sir. Anything else you want to tell us at this point?
No, I just appreciate everyone's assistance here in this matter.
Okay, I'm looking at a picture of your house on Google Maps. It's quite a view.
Yeah, it's very nice. And my intentions is I'm wrapping up my career in the fire service, and I want to keep the property in the family.
Right.
So my daughters are going to take over the property when I decide what I'm going to do after my career. So everything I'm doing is basically to make my property nicer for me to enjoy it and for my daughters to enjoy after I decide to do it after my career.
Absolutely, sir. Sounds admirable. Ms. Sawant.
Sure. This is again R5 zone, Lawrence Harbor area. Board members are quite familiar with the challenges that the properties in the Lawrence Harbor area have. They're smaller lots. The zone requires a minimum of 5,000 square feet, whereas majority of these parcels are between 2,000 to 3,000 square feet. So often the board members come across floor area ratio variances, side yard setback variances. In this case, there is already an existing driveway. The applicant wants to expand it slightly, and then there is some room between the garage and the side property line where the applicant proposes to add pavers. Our township's code 250-77-2A requires that parking areas or paved areas be no closer than 5 feet to the side yard or rear yard property line. In this case, the driveway is 2 feet from the side yard property line, and the pavers are 0 feet, and that's why there are a variance is required. But again, Lawrence Harbor area, the houses, it's pretty tight there. There is there isn't adequate parking space for cars to park. So if the owner is trying to create a parking space on his lot, it alleviates some of the traffic circulation issues there. So I don't have any further questions. And Damien and I did look at the application. We are good with this.
Thank you, Ms. Sawant, for your guidance. Mr. Sachs, obviously, normally the board would not be in favor of 0 on a setback from the property line. We've had these issues before. Could you justify the board why this would be okay to do?
Yeah, actually, Mr. Chairman, good point. I think what's happening here is actually a benefit to the community in the sense that with this expansion of the driveway and this paver walkway, you're taking some vehicles possibly that would be parking on that street, which could obstruct emergency vehicles. I mean, I know exactly where this street is in Lawrence Harbor. It's a little tight. So if there's any possibility of getting off-street parking on a property, that's a benefit to the community. So certainly, I believe they've covered the necessary planning proofs to justify that.
Thank you, Mr. Sachs. Board members, any questions on that?
Chairman Sullivan, I'm sorry to interject.
Sure.
Can I ask a quick question?
Sure.
Mr. McGee, the pavers that you're proposing, are they grass pavers or they're regular pavers?
They're just regular pavers.
Because maybe something for you to consider is grass pavers, because then you maintain some of the green space in between, and they're not as solid in look. So something for you to consider. I wouldn't say that it should be a condition of approval, but something for you to consider.
Absolutely, I would definitely consider that.
Sure.
Thank you, Mr. Wood. Board members, does anyone have a problem or question that they want to ask Mr. McGee about this? It seems pretty straightforward. We've dealt with many of these matters, certainly coming out of the harbor. I see no hands. None. Okay, I see no hands. Mr. McGee, I'm going to go to the public portion. Okay, sir?
Yep.
This is matter 18-2021Z located at 176 Ocean Avenue for driveway and paver walk expansion. If you have any comment on this application tonight that's before the Old Bridge Zoning Board, please call on one of the phone numbers that you see in front of you on the screen right now, whatever device you are calling from. Ms. Sawant, is anyone in queue?
Chairman, we have no raised hands.
Thank you.
No raised hands.
Thank you. Mr. Sachs?
Mr. Chairman, you can close the public portion.
Thank you very much, sir. Public portion is hereby closed. Do you have any final comments, Mr. McGee? I'm assuming you want me to go for a vote, call for a vote?
I just thank you for your consideration, and I hope you have a wonderful summer.
Thank you so much, sir. Board members, you've heard the direct testimony of the applicant. Certainly, I think he's taken from his own vocation something in mind. And when I asked Mr. Sachs to justify something, certainly that public safety is first and foremost, and we wouldn't want cars out in that street there. And if he is dealing with a tight space, I certainly don't have any problem with it, but I would ask someone if they would be in favor of moving this application for approval.
I'll move it. Dewhurst?
Vice Chairman Dewhurst has moved it. I'll second. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Dewhurst?
Yes.
Ms. Chevalier?
Yes.
Mr. Connor?
Yes.
Ms. Kilduff?
Yes.
Mr. Scogno?
Yes.
Mr. Stoner?
Yes.
Chairman Sullivan?
Yes. Mr. Sachs, do we have a prepared resolution in the event of approval?
Yes, we do, Mr. Chairman. This is application 18-2021Z. Applicant is William McGee, property located 176 Ocean Avenue, Block 6, Lot 175.11. Property in the R5 zone. The applicant proposes construction of a driveway expansion and paver walkway expansion, which violates the side yard setback. 0 feet proposed where 5 feet is required for the driveway, and 2 feet where 3 feet is required for the walkway. Property located in the R5 zone. Conditions of approval, that construction to be completed within 1 year of the issuance of the building permit.
Board members, as to the resolution, someone move for adoption, please.
Connor, I'll move it.
Kilduff.
Looks like Connor and Kilduff in that order. Roll call, please.
Mr. Dewhurst?
Yes.
Ms. Chevalier?
Yes.
Mr. Connor?
Yes.
Ms. Kilduff?
Yes.
Mr. Scogno?
Yes.
Mr. Stoner?
Yes.
Chairman Sullivan?
I think seeing the picture that I looked at and obviously hearing your testimony, sir, you've taken great care of the property. I see this as no problem for granting this variance, and certainly my vote is yes. Maintain your health throughout your career. I don't know when you're going to retire, but please be safe.
Thank you, sir.
And the fact that you maintain the house in such order is great for the community and certainly great for that area down there as well. So continue doing the same. Best of luck. Have a great holiday.
Thank you, sir.
This, let's see, next matter is 19-2021Z, and that's in the R5 zone. Annabelle Rivera. That's at 831 Forest Avenue. This is for an 8x26 deck requiring a C variance. This is block 29, lot 832.11. Annabelle, let me see where you are. Okay. I get over here. There you are, sir. Is anyone else going to be testifying with you?
No, just me.
Mr. Rivera, the board attorney will swear you in.
Mr. Rivera, please raise your right hand. Swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes.
Please state your name, spelling your last name, address for the record.
My name is Annabelle Rivera. Rivera,
Address, sir?
831 Forest Avenue in Lawrence Harbor.
Thank you.
All right, Mr. Rivera, obviously you've heard all the advice I've given to everyone that has preceded you. So I'm going to ask you, absent any questions, to just proceed at your own pace and tell us what you want to do, how you want to do it, and why you're here before us.
Hi, everyone. So we're requesting this variance because right now we have a small wooden deck that is pretty much unusable at this point. You know, railing is failing and it's raw. So we decided to replace this wooden deck with a composite deck. But since we're gonna invest in a new deck, we decided to make it wider and a little longer to make it more usable. However, that takes away from the side yard. The reason why we're just using the side yard instead of using the backyard is because we are planning on staying here in Lawrence Harbor for the foreseeable future. But I mean, if you've been to Lawrence Harbor, houses are very small. So in the interest of keeping that backyard open to a possible expansion, we decided that it was best to just do the side deck as opposed to a back deck. The other reason why is because we have a Bilco door with access to our basement.
Mhm.
And that will, again, hinder, you know, how big we can make future expansion. We've been here for 5 years. I mean, we moved, this house was in foreclosure, closed down for 2 years. And since we moved in, we've been making improvements, new roof, new fence. So, I mean, we're planning on staying, but, you know, it's a small house and we're trying to just make some improvements so we can make it a forever home. Thank you.
Sir, the board has in front of them, they have copies of 2 pictures. Would you tell us, describe them for us? Actually, 3 pictures, I'm sorry. I would assume you have the same. One looks like it's looking at the up side of walking up what's there now and towards the rear of your property. It looks like there's a couple of trash receptacles back there. Why don't you describe each of these for us?
Well, the pictures I took them just to give you an idea of where the deck will be located. I mean, basically what's there will be just bigger and wider. Against most of the houses here in Lawrence Harbor, the access to the deck or the yard will be from the back of the house. In this house, it's on the side of the house.
Right.
That's why the longer, you know, sounds like it's like really long, but it's just that the access to the house is through the side, not to the back.
And then finally, you have a picture that I guess it's computer driven by, I guess, it's a fencing improvement center, correct? And that's what the final is going to look like, correct?
Exactly. That's just the rendering of what it looked like when it's done. Is hopefully everyone agrees that it's a yes.
Okay. I think we have a clear picture of what it is. Board members, does anyone have any questions for the applicant? No, Ms. Sawant.
For the address is 831 Forest Avenue and it's R5 zone. If I have some pictures in front of me of the existing deck is pretty narrow. So there is, I mean, it's not, it really doesn't offer any thing because it's probably 3.5 to 4 feet. The ordinance section 250-50E related to accessory structures requires that the wooden deck, if it is 2 feet high, has a setback, side yard or rear yard setback of 7 feet. And then with each increase in foot, there should be a 2-foot setback that would be added. In this case, the deck is 4 feet high, and that's why the additional 4 feet, so 7 plus 4, 11 feet setback is required, where the applicant is proposing 9 feet setback. And that is why they need a variance for the setback, side setback, and they're proposing 9 feet, like I said. So I don't have any further questions. I think the expansion of the deck will make the deck more usable.
It will still allow them to traverse that side of the property, correct?
Yes, that is correct. There is 9 feet from the property line, which is adequate.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sawant. Mr. Sachs, do you have anything for the applicant?
No, I don't, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Board members, I saw no hands. Any in mind?
7 feet.
I'm sorry, Ms. Chevalier? No?
No, no,
Okay.
I was saying it's 7 feet from the side, but that's fine.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Rivera, the board members have no questions. We've heard from the township professional. Our legal advisor, Mr. Sachs, has no questions. If you want, I'm going to go to a public portion now and then call for a vote, okay? Is that okay with you, sir?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, this is matter 19-2021Z located at 831 Forest Avenue. This is for an 8x26 deck. There'll be a setback issue, I think of 2 feet difference. If you have any comments or you have any questions about this particular application, please call one of the phone numbers that you see in front of you on your screen.
No raised hands.
Okay, thank you. Anything else, Vina? No? No? Mr. Sachs?
Mr. Chairman, you can close the public portion.
Thank you. Public portion is hereby closed. Any final comments you want to make, sir? Otherwise, I'm going to call for a vote.
No, just thank you for your time, and again,
Mr. Rivera, can you please, Mr. Rivera, can you please confirm what is the setback your proposed deck would have from these side property line?
it's gonna be, I believe it's the minimum is 9 feet and the proposed is 7.
The minimum is 11 feet, and as per my discussions with the deck, you were with Damien, it was 9 feet. So I just want to know what is the setback. How wide is your deck?
The deck that we have now is 4 feet.
And the proposed is 7 feet?
It's 8 feet.
It's 8. It shows it on the rendering from the computer generated rendering. Looks like it's 8 foot width, 26 length.
Vina, the lot's 40 feet wide, right?
Yes.
Yeah, let me just do some quick math here. Let's see.
So
Looking at the-
8.3 plus 18.5.
16.5.
16.5.
16.5, yeah.
Right. Plus the 8-foot deck.
It's 32.8.
32.8.
So it's,
which means
it's a little over 7 feet.
7 feet 4 inches.
Yeah.
Okay,
So,
go
which
ahead.
means 11 feet is required and the proposed is 7 feet 4 inches.
Okay.
All right, that's fine.
All right, board members, so the setback is 11, where it's going to be 7.4, where 11 required, right?
Instead of 9, right?
Okay. Anyone in favor of moving this application for an approval?
I'll move it, Kilduff.
Is there a second to Ms. Kilduff?
I'll second Stoner.
Mr. Stoner seconds, roll call, please.
Mr. Dewhurst,
Yes.
Ms. Chevalier,
Yes.
Mr. Connor,
Yes.
Ms. Kilduff,
Yes.
Mr. Scogno,
Yes.
Mr. Stoner,
Yes.
Chairman Sullivan.
Yes. Mr. Sachs, we have a resolution in.
Yes, we do, Mr. Chairman. This is application 19-2021Z. Applicant is Annabelle Rivera, property located 831 Forest Avenue, Block 29, Lot 832.11, property in the R5 zone. It's an application to permit the construction of an 8-foot by 26-foot deck, which will violate the side yard setback, 11 feet required, 7 feet 4 inches proposed. The condition of approval, construction to be completed within 1 year of the issuance of the building permit.
Board member, someone move the resolution for adoption, please.
I'll move it.
Mr. Stoner moves it. I'll second it. Roll call.
Ms. Stewart,
Yes.
Ms. Chevalier,
Yes.
Mr. Connor,
Yes.
Ms. Cudlow,
Yes.
Mr. Scogno,
Yes.
Mr. Stoner,
Yes.
Chairman Sullivan.
Yes. Best of luck on your deck. You're making the best you can, I guess, out of that small space. So I hope you and your family can enjoy that, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Have a happy summer.
Yes, you as well, sir. Mr. Sachs, are we going to call in this last application? Have we
Well,
reached resolve?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I guess we could. I guess we can have Mr. and Mrs. Gallo testify.
Okay.
And let's see if it does trigger a D4 variance. If it doesn't, then we can vote on it. All right, and if it does, we'll have to deal with it. So.
Okay, very good. 20-2021Z. This is Michael and Janine Gallo, 16 Victorian Drive. This is for a 13 by 37.35 inch extension on the rear of the house and 6 by 30.3 inch two-story extension side of the house. This is in the R12 zone. This is triggering a C variance. Mr. and Mrs. Gallo, I assume you're both going to testify, so I'm going to ask the board attorney to swear you both in.
Swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
We do.
Okay, separately, please state your name, spelling your last name and address for the record.
Janine Gallo, Gallo, 16 Victorian Drive, Old Bridge.
Michael Gallo, Gallo, 16 Victorian Drive, Old Bridge, New Jersey.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. and Mrs. Gallo. Again, you've heard it enough times, so I'm going to let you proceed at your own pace. Tell the board what we need to hear, and we'll see what we can do to help you out on the variance.
Thank you.
Hello, Mr. Chairman. Thank you for your time.
No problem.
We've lived in Old Bridge in this house for 37 years, raised all our children here. They went through the Old Bridge school system. We love being in town. We have a lot of friends here. However, due to all of our children being married now and grandchildren, we find we need more space, more living space, bigger dining room, bigger kitchen, small family room, and a pantry. So that's why we are seeking the variance. And we do have limited space because we don't have a basement, and our furnace is in the attic, so we have some limited storage up there.
So you're dealing with some issues, I understand. Let me ask our professionals what's going on first, and then we'll see what we can do here. Mr. Warren.
So, Ms. Gallo, I heard you mentioned earlier that you know the exact square footage. Could you just repeat that for me?
Yes. We have existing square footage of 1,907. And we have proposed square footage of 807. So that brings us to 2,714. And that is living space. The allowable FAR, as you mentioned, was 0.21 or 2,926 square feet.
Yes, that's accurate. So, board members, while we were going through the other applications, I just went quickly to our tax records to see how big the house is, and the house is roughly 1,900 square feet. I did go and measure the expansion that is being proposed. So it appears that they are within the required floor area ratio. They would require the maximum allowed is 2,926, and they appear to have are somewhere around 2,700 to 2,750. So I'm comfortable with the floor area ratio. I just did a quick search to ensure that these people are heard tonight. So
Thank you.
so basically, the addition is to the side and the rear of the house. The side yard, addition to the side is actually 2-story, whereas the addition to the rear side of the house is 1-story. I did take a quick look at the Google Earth images to see if the house is going to be out of character from the neighborhood, and that doesn't look like the case. I think you had provided some pictures, right?
Yes.
I can share those pictures with the board members so that it helps them. Board members, please bear with me for a second. So, Mr. Gallo, can you explain? This is the front of the building. This is the side where the addition is going to be. How wide is the addition? So that it helps the board visualize.
It will be 6 feet wide.
So 6 feet wide here. So it will go somewhere like this.
There's a second shot that'll show the side of the house. It'll give you a better visual. Can you bring that up? Thank you. And you can see, that's the back. There's one more, I think. There it is.
So that, so you see how that roof is angled down there on the right? That roof will come up from the top roof, so it'll look more symmetrical with the house.
So visually, if this is this post, do you see the post where my pointer is that 6 feet from the wall? Could be 6 feet from the wall.
That's an 8-foot section. So if you would come out to
About
probably where the shrub is, where we come out to, and you can
the
see
back shrub that's against the fence, that's about 6 feet.
So the addition will come somewhere around here.
Yes.
Let the record reflect, we have a series of 3 photographs which will mark as A1.
Does that go behind the chimney?
Yes, the extension does go behind the chimney, past the chimney.
but it'll come out to probably where those shrubs are.
Right.
Yes.
That's a 6-foot line on an 8-foot fence section.
Okay.
And of course, we spoke with all the neighbors and they're fine.
Okay. Board members, does anyone have any questions having seen the photos? And heard the testimony? Mr. Sachs?
Nothing further, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. This seems pretty straightforward to me as well. This is because the combined setbacks are under, as I just read. It's the 30, existing is 48 and requirement 35. Side yards both. Proposed 33. Okay. So it's a foot and a half under. And if one
Yes,
side.
that is correct.
Yeah, there's a minimum side yard setback and also a combined side yard setback.
Combined. Okay. So board members, it's the combined, the side yard and the side yard combined. So it's for 2 side yard setbacks. Any other questions from the boards? I see no hands. Ms. Sawant, you're fine. Mr. Galley, have anything before I go to the public portion?
No, thank you so much for running those numbers. We've, like I said, we've lived here for 35, 37 years and want to stay here and really love the town. And
looks like you've done a very good job at your house. I'm sure if approved, you'll do a great job at the extension. I'm going to go to the public portion on this, sir. This is matter number 20-2021C. The location is 16 Victorian Drive for an extension on the rear and the rear of the house and 2-story extension on the side. If you have any comments or you have any questions concerning this particular application, I'm asking you now, please call one of the phone numbers that you see on the display in front of you.
No raised hands.
I think my parrot's screaming. He wants to ask. I don't know if everybody heard that. Do we have anybody else, Mr. Swan?
No raised hands.
Okay. Larry Bird will have to be quieter. I'm sorry. I'm going to close the public portion at this time. It's okay, right, Mr. Sachs?
Yes, that's fine.
All right, thank you. Any final comments you folks would like to make, the Gallows?
No, thank you for hearing this.
Thank
and
you for your time.
Appreciate it.
Once again, the good thing about this board is we've all sat together for quite a while. So we're quite familiar with not only the land of the town, having lived here so long, but we're familiar with a lot of these applications as they come. And certainly it is, as I said before, great to see people reinvesting in their own homes rather than picking up and leaving. And you've done a great job with you. Let's see if we can get an approval for you. Does someone want to move this?
Chairman,
Yes.
Chairman, I'm sorry, before you take a vote, I just want to let the board members know that the HOA has issued an approval letter already.
Thank you, Mr. Lee. All right, I'm going to proceed now. Someone in favor of moving it.
Connor, motion to approve?
Is there a second?
Second, Kilduff.
Connor and Kilduff, roll call, please.
Mr. Dewhurst,
Yes.
Ms. Chevalier,
Yes.
Mr. Connor,
Yes.
Ms. Kilduff,
Yes.
Mr. Scogno,
Yes, please.
Mr. Stoner,
Yes.
Chairman Sullivan.
My vote is yes, and Larry Bird said hello, so I don't think that's.
We have
a resolution. Do we have a resolution, Mr. Sachs?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I also want to thank the Gallows for being patient while
Thank
we
you.
investigated that issue on the FAR. All right, this is application 20-2021Z. Applicants Michael and Janine Gallo. Property located 16 Victorian Drive, block 17010, lot 17. Property located in the R12 zone. It's an application to construct a 2-story addition to the side of the house, which will violate the side yard setbacks. One side proposing 9.66 feet where 15 feet is required, and combined side yard setback 35 feet required, 33.66 feet proposed. The conditions of approval, that the construction be completed within 1 year of the issuance of the building permit, the addition to match the existing house, and the homeowners association of approval letter to be provided, which Ms. Sawant has indicated is received. And those are the conditions.
Board members, as to the resolution for adoption, someone going to move it?
I'll move it.
Was that Vice Chairman Dewhurst, right?
Yes.
Who's the second?
Yes.
But who seconded it?
Scogno.
No second. Roll call,
Thank
please.
Mr. Dewhurst,
Yes.
Ms. Chevalier,
Yes.
Mr. Connor,
Yes.
Ms. Kilduff,
Yes.
Mr. Scogno,
Yes.
Mr. Stoner,
Yes.
Chairman Sullivan.
Yes, thanks for reinvesting in your home here and not moving on. It's a beautiful.
Now we can celebrate our 43rd anniversary tonight. We're 19 and 18. How about that?
Thank you. Best
Enjoy
gift
your
you've
summer.
given us.
Happy
Have a
anniversary.
great summer. And thanks to Kim for her help with the application. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks again, Mr. and Mrs. Gallo.
All
Thank
right,
you.
Have a good night.
I have no further agenda to bring before the board. Ms. Silverman, is there anything you would like to tell us?
Larry, do you have any news for us on any of those?
No, the only news I can tell you is that anytime I have a trial date, it seems to get adjourned by Judge McCluskey. So I don't have any, I do have a trial date, but I believe it's sometime over the summer on the Metro Storage, and the same thing with the Old Bridge Rifle and Pistol Club. So
Okay.
nothing new to report otherwise.
Our next meeting is June 3rd. We have two big applications on, and I will forward you all that information, and the services will be open soon next week. And everybody have a wonderful Memorial Day weekend.
All right, Kim,
Yes.
thank you for keeping us all apprised of all of these applications as they come forward. I wish everyone a great Memorial Day weekend and the beginning of the unofficial beginning of the summer. Please stay safe, and we'll meet again June 3rd.